Wow, what an amazing, amazing event. The grand opening of a Santa Fe Jewish Center right here on Sunday. Hundreds of people came together from all walks of life to hear about the center and about the vision. We heard from our donors, from our volunteers, from our coordinators, and then we had a tour of this beautiful building and with food and celebration. And I want to especially thank all those who made contributions, small or large, to the building. We have this beautiful donor wall to mark those names. There are some people anonymous who didn't come onto the donor wall. As you can see, there are smaller, larger people who dedicated a room, a space, a building, some pews, some bookcases, a classroom, and there are many more to be donated, to be dedicated. If you want to make a dedication to somebody's name, to remember, in memory of somebody, in honor of somebody, a classroom, a deli, kosher kitchen, or any part of it. And then please come join us. If you haven't seen it yet, come by, come pray, come celebrate, come eat, come study, read, reflect, and celebrate. And I shared a story, a vision, a story of the Rebbe. This week, this Shabbat marks 82 years since the Rebbe arrived at the shores of the United States in New York after narrowly escaping the Nazis in Berlin and France. The Rebbe came and established the Chabad Center in New York, the headquarters, and continued doing so after his father-in-law passed away, broadening the reach of Chabad and creating all these centers. Next week, Thursday, marks 29 years since the Rebbe's passing, and the Rebbe's influence after his passing is still growing and still inspiring many people to connect and be more Jewish. So we shared a story at the opening about the Rebbe's vision, why we have these Jewish centers around the world, why there are thousands of Chabad centers around the world, why there are 147 new rabbis ordained just this week. The story goes back to 1984. There was a Jew in Curacao, a little island near Venezuela, and the Jew was having a problem with his son. His 10-year-old son was the only Jew in his class, and he was having a difficult time with his friends. They were harassing him, they were beating him up because he was Jewish. And it got to a point where it was unbearable, and the boy stopped going to school. And he had to go to school. The authorities came to his house to find out why he hasn't been to school, and they started pestering him, and he didn't know what to do. He was at a loss. One night he had a dream. He had a dream that he was sitting on the lap of his grandmother, and his grandmother was telling him, Chaimel, if you ever have a problem, reach out to the Lubavitcher Rebbe in Brooklyn. He had never heard of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and he had no contacts. And he awoke, he realized that it was a message from his grandmother, and he went instead to the synagogue. And he went to this little synagogue. There's a very famous synagogue in Curacao. That's not the one he went to. He went to a small synagogue. And in this small synagogue, he came and he prayed, and he opened his heart. He opened the ark, and he was crying and crying. As he steps out of that small synagogue, he encounters two rabbinical students, two Chabad rabbis. And he nearly fainted. He asked, "What are you doing here?" And they come up to him and they said, "We want to know more about the Jewish community." He said, "How did you get here? What are you doing here?" They said that we were sent by the Lubavitcher Rebbe. We got a call from a secretariat who asked us to please come out to Curacao. We're not exactly sure what we should be doing here. And apparently there's a message, there's something for us to do here. He says, the Rebbe must have sent you to take care of me. And he told them the story. And they immediately went to take care of his son. They met him, they encouraged him, and they signed him up for Jewish camp in the summer. And they really helped the family. Later, the family moved to a Jewish community, and Chaim had a great time with his son. He wrote a letter to these rabbis who visited with him, and they passed it on to the Rebbe. And he thanked the Rebbe for all the help and for caring and for helping his family. And he signed a small Jew in Curacao. The Rebbe sends him back a letter right before Passover, a short letter. Thank you for your regards. And I want to take issue with you calling yourself a small Jew, because there's no such thing as a small Jew, because we each have a nefesh elokit, a divine soul within us, as explained in the Tanya, the book of Tanya, which has infinite power, and it connects us to the divine, to the infinite powers of the divine, and every single Jew, men or women, are infinitely powerful. They're not small. We have amazing, amazing energy. And the Rebbe goes on and encourages them to continue striving in his Yiddishkeit. That message is one of the incredible messages of the Rebbe. There is no such thing as a small Jew, and there's no such thing as a small person. We each have infinite powers to influence and change the world. Sometimes we're not sure of ourselves. Sometimes we feel small. And the Rebbe comes and encourages us and tells us we should stand strong. This is what this Jewish Center is about. To encourage us to find our connection to our soul, to encourage us to find connection to our heritage, 3,000 years of heritage, to encourage us to study Torah, to connect with community, to celebrate, and to bring out the greatest potential within us and change the world with ultimately the transformation of the world and the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days. Hope to see you soon. Have a Shabbat Shalom.